This is the statement that I gave to the police, and we had a finance meeting. After the finance meeting, we held a finance meeting. Mr. Studer was in attendance. After the meeting, he asked me to convene with me. I told him only if Jim Blow was present. The three of us met in my office. Chris said I messed up. I told him I discussed OMA repeatedly with him, and his actions clearly constitute an OMA violation. I told him I had to file a report with the police, and they likely would be contacting me. He repeatedly kept saying he was sorry, sorry, sorry. I told him, don't be sorry, just stop violating OMA. I reminded him that he could not send out emails to his fellow board members discussing his thoughts and opinions about the items the board would be voting upon. I told him if he had questions, he could send them to me. This is a statement I gave to the police.
So now you said
So then we have January 5th. Chris sends out another email. This time, he forgets to send it to me. He sends it to the rest of the board. Same thing, another Open Meetings Act violation. It has all kinds of items related to various things.
In March, the police
so at that time, I became aware
of it. In November, the police never talked to me.
Of January.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Chris, just let him do this.
Nick, you're crazy, okay? I'm not going to let him do this.
No, I'm not crazy.
There's no basis for this.
You read your letter.
The police never talked to me in November. They never talked to me in March. What kind of meeting is this?
You
Is
know,
this a meeting, a school board meeting? You're telling lies.
What's lies, Chris? Those are
All
your
of that.
emails.
All of that.
Those
You're
are
saying I was investigated in March. I wasn't. You're saying investigated in November. I wasn't.
I didn't say that, Chris.
You did.
No, Chris, I said
You're sharing emails and you're saying things that I was investigating.
No, I told you I
You're saying that, Jeff.
You were investigating.
Can you finish soon?
Well, I can finish when I'm done with my point. You had your opportunity
keep
tonight,
points.
and I didn't interrupt you.
I'm going to clarify.
You do whatever you need to do. That's how open government works. It's in public, not via emails. So I turned it over to the police. They came in, they investigated, took statements.
I'm sorry, when did you turn over, please?
1/9/14, as soon as I became aware of it.
Okay.
And so there was a letter from Mr. Studer to Michael Gilbert. He's the local prosecutor, and he indicated the emails clearly reference school official business. The practice violates the spirit of the Open Meetings Act, even if it doesn't violate the letter of the law. The letter concludes, I know this is the second time that someone has complained about Mr. Studer violating the Open Meetings Act. Nonetheless, I've been giving Mr. Studer the benefit of the doubt. This time, I'm electing not to authorize this warrant request. So this is the rest of the story. This is last time when Mr. Studer made an issue of this at the board meeting. I felt it was only fair at that point to publicly disclose all of the issues that we've had with Mr. Studer's repeated violations of the Open Meetings Act. So that's the rest of the story.
So January was investigated and found not guilty of doing anything wrong.
You could interpret that way. I'm not
That's
sure
what you said.
that's
That's
what
what
you
your email
said.
said.
Does it say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the email in question, just to be clear to everybody, since I don't have the email in question that January sent was we need to have more discussion on problems with the budget. We had a budget amendment, $35 million budget, in December 5th. And the information was not forthcoming. I was looking for information, detailed information on what it's going to vote on. And Jeff told me, the administration told me I didn't need the details of the budget. Just show up at the meeting and vote. And I told him that was unacceptable.
Chris, do you have a copy of that email? Because that's not true. Everything you said is not accurate.
Well, okay, so my turn now, Jeff, right?
I just asked if you have.
So in January, yes, I do. In January, that was my email I sent. I waited until Christmas was over. And so January, I sent an email to the board members. I said, this is not acceptable. Financial communication, what are they hiding? Why won't they share the details of the budget that they want me to vote on? So I said, we need to discuss this. Second point I made was that we have this cage that is costing us a lot of money. The district a lot of money. Buildings are not being repaired and maintained. We're spending money on a cage we don't have. The Performing Arts Center has been built. The cage is causing a lot of financial trouble. I said we need to talk about the cage. That's what the email says. We need to discuss these things, and that's exactly what it says. If anybody would like a copy of that email, it's right here.
I would.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Anybody else, I'd be glad to send me an email. I'd be glad to send you a copy of it. So, the spirit of the law says we should.
That's my copy. That's not yours.
The spirit of the law says we should have open meetings, open discussions, and that's what I was looking for. And the attorney looked at it. The police officer looked at it, determined there was no case, so it was dismissed. This time.
You need this back, Dr. Hall?
I'll make you a copy of this. I have the other copy. copy I have, and as you heard,
Always thorough.
Thank you.
You bet.
But, which is fine, which is what we told Mr. Studer when we met with him. We said, Chris, if you have concerns, you have items, bring them to the board meeting. But you can't send out emails that aren't part of the public record. That's the issue. It's not whether you have items. No, you
Open
can't.
Meetings Act does not say you can't send out emails.
You can't send them out to your fellow board members.
It doesn't say that.
Yes, it does. And if you do it again, you'll be turned over to the police, and you'll be investigated.
Anybody's welcome to read, it's about 6 pages. I investigated it. I talked to an attorney, and I did not violate the law. The attorney's dismissed it. He showed a letter that says, this time. What that means, code is, Chris, don't send emails to people because we don't want to deal with your communications. They're trying to shut me down. They don't want me to talk. I'm trying to find out what the financial numbers are, and they don't want me to ask. Emails, one-way communication is allowed. If I send an email out to somebody and they respond to me, and we have a conversation hidden in public, that's a violation. Again, I'd be glad to talk to anybody about it.
Chris, can you qualify something for me? Actually, for all of us. You indicate they, which is
Administration.
vernacular.
Administration.
They,
I try not to get
obviously, pertinent information is being withheld according to you.
Yes.
Who is they? We need definition. We need more concise.
Administration.
Who is the administration?
All right, we can do that with a public comment.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, number 6.